Hey, welcome back to the channel. I want to talk about what happened in Atlanta on Saturday. There was a peaceful protest over a guy, I believe he was Caucasian. He looked like he was Caucasian. He was in a tent in the woods where the Atlanta police are making a training facility, and allegedly he shot at them. They shot back and killed him. So there was a peaceful protest, which then turned into Antifa and a whole lot of mayhem. But I want to play this guy's video who's talking about it, and he feels it's a setup. And then I'm going to play the clip from the news showing everything on fire and what's happening.
Was killed. He was a non-African American activist. Pay attention to that. And these people who are doing the protesting and looting and marching are non-black people, right? The cars, police cars are being burnt, the stuff being broken into. If y'all pay attention, these is white folks doing this. You know what I think? I think this Atlanta a whole debacle was staged. I think the black people in Atlanta are being set up to take the fall and be the fall guys for the actions of the non-blacks that's happening. If you paying attention, some people writing BLM on the stuff that they tear on the buildings and stuff, and they white people, but they got masks on, right? Now they already saying Atlanta is this high crime area, right? Let's think about it. They already got Atlanta pegged as this high crime area. So now with the death of this activist, it will already look like the bombing and looting and the setting the stuff on fire will be done by black people. So if they wanted to usher in martial law, right, they would use a situation like this that's not even being caused by the black people to come in and later and put their force down on the black people. Because the black people have not been falling for the tricks that the government has been using to get them out into the streets, right? To get them to riot and do all this stuff. None of that's been working. So here's what they're doing. They sending in plants. They sending in a story, a fake story about a activist getting murdered, right? Whether he did or didn't. And then all the white activists, they marching and stuff and all that, setting stuff on fire. This is all staged. This is all an attempt to bring martial law into Atlanta to rid the street. Now you got to remember, they not accepting housing vouchers in Atlanta anymore. So now they're trying to create the chaos of homelessness in Atlanta. Now you have people who've been given 5-day eviction notices to get out, right?
Now that was interesting. I don't know if this is true, if they're setting it up to bring in martial law. But what I do know is what I see on the next video that I'm about to play from the news clip that shows people throwing bricks into windows, and you can clearly see the skin underneath the mask. So a lot of times people, even our own people, will say, oh, I don't know why we tearing up our own city. We tearing up Atlanta. And no, it's not black people. Just like during those George Floyd riots and stuff, a lot of times you could see in the news the people throwing bricks. A lot of people that got arrested were these white people that's dressed in all black, and people say they're with Antifa. So I'm going to play this video and pay attention to those people throwing those bricks in the windows.
Some protesters turned violent in downtown Atlanta Saturday night.
At that point, saw people smashing out taillights of cop cars and windows. And
David Abrahams watched as a firework was used to set an Atlanta police cruiser on fire.
What I saw wasn't peaceful. Yeah, no, I mean, blowing up cop cars and throwing fireworks at police officers is not peaceful.
Once the protest turned violent, police started swarming the area.
There was at least 15 cop cars at the intersection. And next thing I know, the protesters start taking off.
Before the violence, there was a peaceful demonstration Saturday at Underground Atlanta. Stand up, fight back! The group was there to protest a proposed training center for Atlanta police and demand an independent investigation into the death of Manuel Theron. Theron was killed at Entrenchment Creek Park when law enforcement worked to clear the woods of activists Wednesday, camped out protesting the site they call Cop City. The GBI says Theron opened fire fire, injuring a state trooper. And that's when troopers shot back, killing Tehran.
We can debate the circumstances of what happened Wednesday all day. I'd like to see an independent investigation of that.
What was supposed to be a peaceful demonstration to demand answers in Tehran's death and put a stop to the proposed training center for Atlanta police took a turn. APD says the destruction was stopped quickly and 6 protesters were arrested.
People were upset, and you could see it. So we watched them take out some frustration.
I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if it was a parade or what. And then once I seen them start breaking cop car windows and the cop car caught on fire, I was like, yo, this is no joke.
I'm glad they found a brother in a suit to speak to. You know, normally they try to find the worst of us, but luckily they didn't this time, especially with what's going on and people hear Atlanta and think, oh, it's black people. So you see, they talked to multiple white people about what was happening. He was out there. And then when they showed the crowd out there chanting, now they did see one black looking face out there, but the rest seemed to be white people. And I just hate when things happen in these black cities and people automatically assume it's black people doing this or that, when a lot of times it's people from out of town. It's people that live in the town, like in Chicago, but they're not black. A lot of that violence in Chicago is from the cartel, and we know the black people are not the cartel. It looks like everything was settled on Saturday night. There was no prolonged protest or riots that continued on throughout the night or anything like it was back when George Floyd was going on. People are in a different space right now anyway, but we're not about to get out there, our people, and tear up the city and do all of that behind some white activists in the woods. Let me know your thoughts on what happened. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and until next time, peace.